All right. So, basically, it's interesting how when you said you're doing a video, that's when people call you. So, I don't know if this is better. Is this better? Could you confirm to me if this sound is better? I was trying earlier on a different gadget. Could you guys confirm if this is better? If the sound here is better? If it's okay? Even as we're giving people time to load up, to join in. Maggie, is the sound better on this one? Okay. All right. So this is a pretty short video, I think, I believe, because I do have to get to a meeting. But I'm just really thinking about this issue of lack, yeah, in the church, and it's really disturbing me. And really, truth be told, yeah, if we are doing our tithes and we are giving our offerings and we are very, very faithful and we are giving to fertile soil, then why are we still lacking? Why are we still struggling? Why is it that you find that someone cannot afford their rent, cannot afford, their transportation, and they do have an education? Poverty is there and it's real, yeah? We're talking about people who have an education, very smart people who can do business and do various things. Especially what I want to talk about is the issue of people who say that they want to be they're called to full-time ministry, and therefore if they're called to full-time ministry, then they cannot do anything to sustain themselves. Well, I need to speak especially as somebody who I'm a tent maker. I've never felt the Lord release me to a place where all I'm depending on is the giving of the people. The Lord continues to remind me that He's given me wisdom, that He's given me the ability to make wealth, and it's not just me, but all of us. Yeah, you know, if you look at the example of Paul, Paul the apostle, Paul the apostle was a tent maker. He was a tent maker. So what this means is that while he was ministering, he still, literally was making tents anyway, but he was literally doing something else to sustain himself. Because we are not supposed to depend purely on just the giving of people, especially in this day and age. It's not even fair on those people that you're depending on, but also you will soon get very, very discouraged or find yourself caught up in trying to preach a gospel that is pleasing to people's ears. As I've been traveling, one of the things that the Lord has enabled me to do is just meet some very, very heavily anointed people. But also, as I've been reading about men and women of God, even in the past and everything, you find that unless the Lord specifically told them, do absolutely nothing, yeah, in which case they lived a very, very humble life. But we cannot say that, you're in full-time ministry, and therefore what that means is that you cannot do something to earn a revenue. And I think there's quite a bit of a misunderstanding on what full-time ministry is. You see, for as long as you're born again, you are in full-time ministry. I worked for 19 years, in the corporate world. And even when I was working, in the last 5 years, I've been running business as well as working. And then finally, I stopped, doing the corporate work of going into somebody's office from 8 to 5 because my schedule could not allow that. And I was getting really, really drained. But really, primarily, it's because the Lord told me, get out of it. But did I stop doing business? No. I'm always hustling, always looking for something, always selling something, always, looking for a business idea, business opportunity that will allow me to have a flexible schedule so that I can do ministry, but at the same time, be able to earn a living. I don't know where, honestly, allow me to call it foolishness. I don't know where this foolishness is coming from. There's no way, that you can be not having food on the table, not having a single coin on you, even when you need it. There's a way that, by the way, and so often I don't have anything at all. Yeah, as in I don't have a single coin on me, But do I need it at that time? No. But at the point that I need it, the Lord supplies my needs according to his riches in glory. But that includes a client who pays me. That includes an idea that comes and I can earn something based on, oh, I'll fix somebody's CV. I'm always looking for something. I will consult on something. I will do a counseling session for someone. My client has paid me for something. But, God has given us the ability to make wealth and to profit. If you are not on the pulpit, which ministry is this that you're doing where you're not going into an office, to work? I don't know what's going on, but there's just something going on that is really, really fishy. And honestly, I will tell you, I believe it's actually laziness. It's actually laziness. You say you're in full-time ministry, therefore you cannot be employed. But when was the last time you went and met somebody to pray with them? When was the last time that you went to feed the poor? When was the last time you were on the streets evangelizing? If you are on the streets every day evangelizing to people, or meeting people to pray with them, or even doing your live videos, and just basically you are on the move ministering to the people of God, then yes, I agree with you. You're in full-time ministry. And can I tell you something? Our God is not thankless. He actually has a payroll. He will ensure that he puts it on the heart of somebody to give to you. And you don't even need to call the people to tell them to give. They will give, by the way. That is just the nature of how God works. He imparts on people to give. But you know what? If at all you're claiming you're in full-time ministry and you cannot therefore work, you're going nowhere to preach, you're not reaching out to nobody, not calling nobody, not meeting somebody, not going to the hospitals to lay hands on the sick so that they may recover. You are not, even gathering together children. You are not going even to your neighbor or even to the watchman. You're not even praying with anybody anywhere. Even there's a Please Call Me one, where someone calls and then you share with them and you minister to them and, you write the word or something. Which ministry is this that you're in? Which full-time ministry is this? While the rest of us are getting so exhausted, yeah? I run businesses that are exhausting. I tell you, Yani, my day ends like starting from Sunday. I started to get out. Last week was recovery, yeah? And even that recovery, I'm still trying to earn a coin here and there by running my biasharas, asking my staff, where are we at with this, looking at reports, talking to clients. Not, you are totally jet lagged. But hey, I have children to feed. I cannot just be depending on people and whether they give or not. And then I start getting disgruntled and stressed that people are not giving. I cannot. And that's not what the Lord has called us to. I don't know. There's just a deception that is going around. There's a deception that's going around. I remember how I had to really, really pray and seek the Lord's face for years. God, are you really telling me to leave my work? What does that mean? God, is it you who's speaking? By the time I laid down my job, because I was like, man, either I hear from God and this is not crazy, or I actually don't hear from God and I'm going to find out this is the craziest, most stupid thing I've ever done. But even then, I realigned my biasharas and started looking at how do I realign my biasharas to give me a monthly income that at least will sort out, rent, will help my husband. And by the way, women in particular, we are so guilty of this. Men are dying on the burden. I cannot say, oh honey, I've gone into full-time ministry and as such, you go and earn all the money, pay all our rent, pay the school fees for the children. I want to drive a funky car. I want to look awesome with beautiful nails. I want to do my hair. I want to maybe travel and have holidays. But oh honey, it's your job to do that. No, guys, no. Even if you are a homekeeper. By the way, if your work is to stay at home, then why do you have a house girl? You don't need to have a house girl. Then you can also send your children, you can also tell your husband, let me do, homeschooling for the children. But please, we are killing our men. We are killing our husbands. We are killing our boyfriends. We are killing our friends with all this burden where other people are working and you're saying, I don't know, you are serving full time. I don't know, you've been called by the Lord. You can be called by the Lord, but you work. Okay, you can be called by the Lord, but you work. Guys, let's stop being lazy and then calling it full-time ministry, please. Please. I met, by the way, when I traveled, I met people, and I met men of God doing well and everything. Their churches are not necessarily big. So as I was speaking to them, let me tell you, people are hustling. People are hustling. I met one who has a fleet of lorries in South Africa, So the guy says, give me a moment, I have a business call. Goes outside, makes phone calls. You hustle and the Lord blesses you. And then that money comes and we're able to be a blessing to those who don't have. So we can take their children to school. So we can be able, right now I'm trying to hustle. I was calling my mother-in-law this morning. I'm telling her we need to build Rusinga Island. We need to build our people. We need to figure out how do we have hospitals? How do we have schools for the children? How do we help them to better themselves? And by the way, a lot of it will mean I go into my pocket. I remove money from my pocket and I say, this has to be done. The Lord gives us the power to make wealth so that we can be a blessing to other people, so that we can be kingdom financiers. Please, beloved, let's stop being lazy and saying that we're in full-time ministry. Please. Please. We are going to lose our boyfriends. We're going to lose our fiancés. Particularly, I want to talk to the women. And by the way, even there are some men who are very comfortable saying, I'm in full-time ministry. And you're just doing your girlfriend or your fiancé's money or your wife's money. And she's getting so drained. Tafadhalini. Yes, that's not what the Lord has called us into. By the way, let me tell you, if you are in full-time ministry, let me remove my shades in your one vizuri. I feel like I'm seeing you, but I'm not seeing you. If you are truly in full-time ministry and you believe that the Lord has called you into full-time ministry, can I tell you something? God is not nasty. He pays. He pays. You will not lack. You will not struggle. You will not have a thing where you're reaching a place where, this God you're serving, who cannot supply, he has all this cattle and silver on 1,000 and cattle on 1,000 hills. Silver and gold belongs to him. But surely you're serving him and he's not going to sort you out. That's not how God is. So a lot of it, by the way, what I'm noticing is we are procrastinators. We plan and plan and plan things and we don't really get them done. We are, having illusions of grandeur and everything, and we're not doing things. We are just not hustling, and also we are just lacking humility. When I started our nanny school, I started it from a place where I would train the girls in my house. They would come to my house, I train them, then I hustle for clients, then I operate from my car, I go and deliver the girl, and it looks like personal service. Kumbe, I have no office. I had no office. I could not afford an office. So you do one girl, then a client tells another one. Then you tell them, you need to get onto the waiting list. Waiting list, Gani. It's hustling where you're preparing the girls and looking for the girls. And then you train only one at a time or two or whatever. I would bring them over. I give my kahauzi, 500 bob. Namwambia wewe ni trainee huyo kidogo. Niko job jioni na kuja kufanya hii part. I'll do this part. But you hustle, guys. You hustle. Whether it's selling mutumba, whether it's selling just maybe delivering some to eggs, whether it's delivering some tomatoes for people who are working. By the way, you can actually start even a business where you are getting tomatoes for people or shopping for people who are employed, and then they give you the money with a little bit of commission on top because they are so busy working. There are so many business ideas, but honestly, guys, will become lazy because when you go to the markets, you preach to people. That's full-time ministry. And then you will go to the houses that you're delivering in the estate. There's the Kawachi. There are the guys in the Masri. By the way, seriously, let me share. Let me just share. I believe in being honest. At some point, I didn't want to be employed because when I got married, because of sexual harassment by my bosses, because I'd had 2 jobs and both of them had sexual harassment. So I told my husband, I'm not going to work. But still, I couldn't stay in the house. We had a son, and at that time, still rent and everything, and we were just starting out. We were kids and everything. So what did I do? I got a restaurant. I asked my dad, please give me this space for a restaurant. So I got my licenses and everything. My son and I used to leave. I would take him Masri, in the morning. We hustle with the mud of Odero. And I would put my baby on my back. At that time, we were living in a Babati house. By the way, I laugh about it. It had a big portal. Our rent was 4,000 bob, but man, we were struggling. My hubby was like on 13K, which hardly ever came. Those employers who don't pay you. I put baby on my back. And I hustle, and we would go to the restaurant. Mimi yo na chonga viazi very early in the morning. Mimi yo na mandazi. Mimi yo, my housey would help me from here and there. But most of the things I'm the one who was doing. So for several months, that's what I was doing. And then someone would come, and I would preach to them. I'd tell them about Jesus, Nini. As I'm cooking, I'm playing some nice music that is gospel music. I would try and find some encouragement for people. Yes, it was still ministry, but hustling and the whole day. by the way. My hubby would come from work. Then when he comes from work, he would come from work, and then he'd come at about maybe 6 o'clock, take the baby, help me maybe to sell. That time I've taken that merchandise and everything. Please note, by the way, I had a scar, not even a scar. That my baby was a newborn baby at the time that we started those things, and I had a cesarean cut, which by the way ended up opening because I was working so hard, and it ended up becoming septic. I nearly died, but it's called hustling. Even with a small baby with that baridi of, for those of you that know a place called 87, I was hustling in 87. And then on days that maybe I wasn't doing biashara, maybe the hours that were not too busy, or maybe I'd cooked and I'd made enough stock, and I knew that the heater was not going to dry the stuff, I would have French classes. I would actually go to a place my dad in complete buildings where my dad had mjengo, and my baby is there being held on by my mom. By then my baby, let me tell you, my son used to sleep in crates. You know the crates for bread. We would take clothes and then we would stuff the crates with the clothes, and then the baby would sleep there. That's where he used to sleep. Not kidding you, yeah. Then after that, we would go, I would go and do some tuition, French classes and everything. Then dash back during peak time and do whatever needs to be done until my cesarean scar opened. Guys, life is about working with the strength that the Lord has given you. You work, and it is full-time ministry because you will be dealing with human beings because you're working. That's where we started with my husband, and then finally I realized, mother, this is so hard, this is so crazy. So I looked for a job, and then from there started the job. But then still, I think for me, I've always done biashara somewhere on the side. I remember in high school selling lollipops. Of course, I ate most of them instead of selling them, but you hustle, you get a coin, you do something. And you know what, when my husband talks about me, one of the things he tells me is, I love the way you're always looking for a coin here and there. You're good at being able to gather money together. I never struggle. My husband tells me I never struggle. When things are thick, no matter what happens, somehow you have a solution on what we will do, and then quickly turn it around into money. Your husband will respect you. Your wife will respect you. Tafadhalini, guys, let's stop this story of asking people for rent, and yet we have a good education. Asking people for money for school fees, for nini, and yet you do have an education. Wewe unafanya nini? Unakaa tu kwa nyumba. Tafadhali, guys, sisi watoto wetu, our children have slept in crates, bana. Our children have slept in crates. So that story, I remember the other day somebody telling me that they needed money for me to give them diapers. I'm like, diapers gani? I bought nappies. This was Moses' basket. I'm like, diapers gani? If people give and we have money for diapers, we will do diapers. But guess what? I've raised a son on nappies. My son hardly ever wore a diaper. He wore a diaper on Sundays because of the convenience. Of course, he could susu and susu and susu, and it doesn't matter because then the diaper is taking care of that, and then we time it with the time that we need. But then why? People joke. One of the things I used to do with my son was, this was in 2001. Sunday, you have that diaper, 1 or 2 diapers. But then what do? You put a nappy liner in that diaper. And then if he poos, you go and throw away the poo, and you put another nappy liner. That way, the diaper can continue to be used. So, guys, enough is enough, Enough is enough. Let's stop being entitled. One of the things I remember I had to do, because my parents are pretty well off, and one of the things I've shared is going to Msongari. I never really struggled with money and everything. But when I was getting married, my mom sat me down and told me, listen, people start from far. I know you don't know Shida, but people start from far. That message Nini sank. I stayed. My hubby and I stayed in a Mabati house in Odero, kanyagaing matope and everything, and struggling. And sometimes just having nothing ready to eat, drinking porridge and sleeping, counting coins sometimes to be able to move here and there. People sometimes see you now, many years later, this is like 18 years later, 20 years later, people see you and they think that you just arrived where you are right now. Please, guys, let's get out of it. Let's stop being lazy and calling it full-time ministry and saying I don't know what. Yes. And even when we are asking for money when we're in full-time ministry or whatever it is, it's not our money, it's God's money. Which we go back to him and ask him, what do you want me to do with this money that I've collected for you? Yeah? What do you want me to do? You don't mess around. You don't collect offerings and tithes and eat them. Utakufa, those are curses. You can't do that. That's God's money. Oh, may God help us, children of God. May God help us. Oh, shalom, guys. Sawa sawa. That one just needed to get out right now. Let me run for my meeting. I know some people who are supposed to be in the meeting have seen me. I need to go and repent. Sawa, guys. Cheers. Let's work. Let's work. The Lord says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all of your heart. Let's work. Let's earn an income. God will bless the work of our hands. God does not bless the work of our mouths. God blesses the work of our hands. He doesn't even bless the work of our feet, by the way. He blesses the work of our hands. Yeah? So that we can be able to work. We have 2 of them. Let's work. Yeah? Then we'll help you out when you're stuck. But at least hustle. Love you guys. Mwah.